The San Antonio Spurs season is almost over. Or is it? What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports, where our San Antonio Spurs are the 10th spot in the play-in. That's official. They went 2-2 last week to beat the Blazers. Had a huge win versus the Nuggets, and in that game, they clinched that play-in spot with the Lakers losing that night against whoever they were playing. The Timberwolves beat us up again for whatever reason. Whenever we play Minnesota, one of their players has a career high against us. Anthony Edwards went for 49 last week, although trying to get that 50th point, Minnesota almost choked that game away. And then last night's essentially G League bench unit game versus the Warriors, they lost. By the way, I did not see that game, so I won't be able to acknowledge anything cool that happened in that game in this recap. But just what a crazy season to see Pop get the record, trade away a bunch of players, including Derek White, to get 3 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. And then the cherry on top, the play-in. Can they make a run in the playoffs? Can they even win a game in the play-in? I don't know. Whatever happens, though, a great season. And Spurs fans, let's keep cheering for the team to win. No, none of this tank mode stuff, not on this channel. Cheer for them to win. And look at the silver lining. If they lose against the Pelicans Wednesday night in the playing game, then we'll have a lottery pick. So I guess a win-win. Just, whatever happens, be happy for what we got to see this year. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get into my version report card. While I'm doing so, drop a comment down below. What did you like about last week? What you didn't like? Hit that thumbs up if you'd like to help support a fellow Spurs fan. And subscribe for more Spurs content. Let's get into it. Time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Up first, because he started with Dujanti Murray out, Trey Jones. He had a good week, man. And he has won me over the last few weeks. Maybe I was sleeping on him this year, but he has won me over as a backup point guard. I'd like to see him come back next year. He's only 22, only in his second year. Yeah, his outside shot is the biggest weakness in his game, but he's starting to fire off more threes and hit them at a little higher rate. He's very good with the ball, doesn't turn the ball over much, and had a very solid week last week, averaging 15 points per game and 8 assists with DJ out. And that's what you need from a backup point guard, a guy that can step in and still play well and run the offense. And he's actually very good. He plays some tenacious D, too. Anyway, up next, Joshua Primo. I thought he had a good bad week. This has kind of been the typical week for Joshua Primo throughout most of this season lately, where his shooting percentage, his shooting metrics are all lackluster, but he plays solid defense. He plays with confidence. He's shown us an ability to finish at the rim. So I like the development we've seen over Joshua Primo, especially he's getting all these starting spots. Is he going to be a starter next season? I just want to ask you guys, what is Pop going to do next season if he is the coach? Is Primo going to be a permanent starter as he's been starting a ton of games lately? Or is he going to get bumped because we have this small ball lineup if we draft a power forward? I don't know what the Spurs are going to do with this rotation, but having Kelman, Devon, Dujanti, and Primo in the starting lineup makes us very small. And we get killed on a regular basis on the board, second chance, third chance opportunities for the opposing team. So I think he's going to go to the bench next year, and hopefully we'll have a bigger guy in and let him develop his game a little more. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, just keep up the good work and keep developing and keep growing. Up next, Devon Vasel. Devon, I thought, had a good weekend. Man, he was on fire from beyond the arc. 47% from threes. And Devon just doing his normal thing. Playing, finishing at the rim, passing improved, playing solid defense. He's really developed this year throughout the season, especially over last year. So I like the direction Devon Vasel's going. I think he's going to be a starter next year, barring something weird happen. Also, who should be a starter next year? Keldon Johnson. Had a good week as well, similar to Devon, improving in his passing, finding the open teammate. 3.3 assists might not sound like much, but for a lot of the season, he was averaging 1.5. So I'm glad to see that he is improving that area. And he was our leading scorer with Dujanti Murray out, scored 22.7 points per game. So Kellen, I thought, had a good week. The man in the middle, maybe a guy I've been a little too critical of. I keep, a lot of times I say I'm not sure if he's the guy, but considering his contract and how little help he has, when it comes to having somebody else big on the floor with him, as he's usually the only big guy on the floor, Jakob Poeltl has been extremely solid, and he had another good Jakob-y week, especially when you consider he went against Jokic and Cat and averaged 14.5 points per game, 12.5 rebounds, and did a fantastic job on Karl-Anthony Towns in the Wolves game, keeping him to not 60 points like he went off the previous game, and then also made Jokic work for his points, even though he had some foul trouble, really made Jokic work that night, and Jokic looked tired in the fourth quarter, which I think helps contribute to the Spurs win versus the Nuggets. So Jakob, he's done a really solid job, and I just think he needs some help, another big guy out there. Up next, a guy that's winning over Spurs fans a lot, becoming quickly a fan favorite, Josh Richardson, who I didn't expect much in this Celtics trade. I was like, Derek White's gone, Jay Rich, Romeo Langford coming in. The first round pick is really the big victory there, and if Romeo or Josh can play well at all, they'll just kind of be the cherry on top. He's been more than a cherry on top. He's been fantastic, just really playing that role we thought he would as a 3D player. He showed some ability to, get some jumpers in the paint, but playing solid defense, hitting some crucial threes when we need him. And he's really been a very, very, very solid player off the bench. And I hope he comes back next year. He's won me over. I hope he comes back. I wasn't sure. I'd like to see him come back next year. I think he's under contract. I've seen other Spurs websites say very likely they'll try to trade him. But we need some kind of veteran on the team, don't we? And this team needs 3-point shooting, and Josh Richardson definitely gives us that. Up next, Lonnie Walker. Lonnie, um, uh, kind of, this is where Lonnie's been a lot this year, where I thought he had a good bad week, where I like the fact Lonnie's taken it to the hole. He's been aggressive at times. He's become a highlight film, human highlight reel, similar to Dominic Wilkins back in the day. Maybe not so much with dunks, but just his ability to just float in the air and contort his body and make an unbelievable acrobatic layup or shot. And I love that part of Lonnie's game. Where he's struggling, though, is his shooting percentage. Like most of this year, is down a little bit. So I think that's just one thing I'd like to see him not fix, but hopefully improve upon next season if he is a San Antonio Spur. Don't forget his contract expires this year, and I think he's a restricted free agent. So the Spurs do have a chance to re-sign him. Up next, Zach Collins, who I think definitely had one of his best, if not best, weeks as a San Antonio Spur. Played all 4 games, 24 minutes a game, shot well from everywhere, 12.8 points per game, 8.5 rebounds. He's a solid passer. He can get a little turnover prone at times. That's the one thing I think he needs to work on. Maybe that's still rust. That being said, he has shown he can be a very solid backup center or backup power forward. Does he ever get inserted into the starting lineup? I don't know. We'd have to see a big jump in his play, I think, to get that spot. But yeah, you never know. He was a lottery pick, so maybe the potential's still there. He's missing the last 2 seasons, may have just slowed that potential. And last but not least, KB D. K debates the up. I thought he had a good week, very solid. Was hitting all his shots. He plays solid defense. He's a very solid player. That's what I can say about KBD. He's not going to give you a ton. He's going to give you that occasional, wow, holy crap, this guy should be a starter type game. And then he's going to give you those games where you're like, yeah, I see why you're kind of more of a role player. But he is a fantastic role player. I love having KBD on the roster. He's got a very small contract in that 10 to 12 spot. So I think that's a player we should keep around because he's played very well as a spot starter at times or as a player just getting some points off the bench. But he's played whatever role for the most part that we needed him to very well. So good job, KBD. Okay, let's get to bench players and guys that don't play as much or not at all. And let's first talk about Dujanti Murray, who was out all last week. He's had some sort of respiratory issue that caused him to lose like 7 to 8 pounds. He's been reconditioning. Is he going to be back for the play-in? Will he play tonight versus the Mavericks? It's kind of a tune-up game to get back in the swing of things. Because if he doesn't play in the play-in, I don't think there's any chance we beat the Pelicans without DeJounte. Well, we have a chance. We are 3-1 against this year, but it's definitely it'll hurt our chances. We need DeJounte, and we need him to be on point too. Missing a lot of time, could throw the rhythm of his game off. So hopefully, first and foremost, his health is okay. That comes first. NBA second. I hope we see him again this week. Hopefully, see him tonight as well. Jacques Glendale. Didn't play much this week except for the game last night against the Warriors. And again, I didn't see that game, but from looking at least the statistics, he had a pretty ugly showing of it. He played 27 minutes, did grab 11 boards, which is fantastic, but was 1 of 10 from the field? 1 of 10 for a center? What happened last night, Spurs fans? If you saw the game, was he just one of those nights where nothing was going in? But 1 of 10, I gotta give him ugly for 1 of 10. Joey's camp. Joe Mama played 4 games, averaged 9 minutes per game, and didn't really show us anything in that time. He was 1 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, and just a lot of times I feel like he was just kind of running up and down the court. And I don't know what the future holds for him. He's also a rookie, so he might, needs to be a little more seasoned, if you will. Speaking of needing some seasoning, maybe not some seasoning, but this guy, he needs some milk. Romeo Langford, this freaking guy, I swear he's always hurt. I see him injured. He comes and plays a game, and then he's on the injury report again. I don't know what the Spurs are going to do with him. He's got a $5.6 million team option next year. He played 3 games last week, 9 minutes a game, and much like Joe Mama, didn't really show us much. 1 of 3 from the field, 2 of 4 from the free throw line. Yes, limited opportunities for those players, but the guy is always hurt, and I think he was a lottery pick for the Celtics, wasn't he? But he's always hurt. He was hurt with them all the time, and he seems like he's always hurt with us already. Always on the injury report. And I don't care how much talent you have. If you're always on the injury report and not playing, you're not doing your team any good. So I don't know what the Spurs are going to do with him. I think they might just say, you know what? You weren't healthy with the Celtics. We were hoping you'd be healthy with us, and you're not. Good luck to you. And Langford out. Devontae K. God! Didn't play much this week except for last night. He got 21 minutes against the Golden State Warriors, and didn't show us much last night either, at least statistically speaking, again, via the box score. Only scored 4 points, 3 runs. I don't think he's coming back next year. He's not under contract unless the Spurs sign him to like a two-way contract. We have so many freaking draft picks. I think he's gone. But at least we've had fun saying his name throughout the season. And last but not least, Mcdermott still out with the ankle. Uh, Even if the Spurs make a playoff run somehow, I think he's just out until next season, but who the heck knows? As far as my Spur of the week, we had 8 guys average double digits, so it was kind of tough. I was leaning towards Kelman, but I was like, I kind of expected that from Kelman, so I'm going to go with the guy that exceeded expectations for me this week by far, especially playing the starting spot when he wasn't expected to be a starter at all this year. Dujanti Murray missing 4 games. I'm going to give Trey Jones the player of the week. Yeah, I thought he really played well, stepped up, and outperformed every expectation that I had. And if he can develop a 3-point shot, doesn't need to be a great 3-point shooter, 33 to 35% just to keep defenses honest, which is where Dujanti is right now. Dujanti's not a great 3-point shooter. He's in that range. Maybe just get a little more better with that 3-point, a little more better, more consistent with a 3-point shot. He's going to be a really, really solid backup point guard. A starting point guard someday for the Spurs or another team, don't know. But a backup point guard who has ability to create his own shots, score in the paint, dish the ball, be turnover free, and he plays very solid defense. I like Trey. I do. Up next, Spurs fans, not much. We got the Mavericks tonight. I'll be live for that. Luka Doncic originally was not going to play because he got his 16th technical. Now I guess he is going to play. As far as the Spurs, I have no idea if Pop's going to play some of our guys as a tune-up game, play them only maybe in the first half. Obviously, we don't want to risk injury. There's also the thought process, well, as long as we keep losing these games while we're in the 10th seed, that helps our lottery spot position if they don't beat the Pelicans on Wednesday night, which obviously I'll be alive for. And just all I can say is what a great season. And if you're still here, a little something special. I got somebody new to the TSR family today. I had to buy this when I was at Walmart. Welcome to the family. So I had to get one. I plan on doing something on my music channel with this at some point this year. Hopefully, if I can figure out how to play the song I want to do a cover of. But good, where'd go? All right, I don't know. Does he even talk in the show? I don't remember. But anyway, that's all I got. Hey, if you made it to that, then hey, there you go. So thank you all for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate you. See you tonight for the Mavs game. Obviously, you'll see you for the Pelicans game Wednesday night. I want us to win, but again, silver lining. If they lose, it's a lottery pick. So to me, it's a win-win, but I want to watch them win. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and as always, go Spurs, go!